Good morning, everyone. Let's start then. First of all, I want to thank you, all the representatives, but especially our guests that came to us to participate from government, from local government, from ministry and for sport Olympic committee. So here is Ms. Albana TOLE, Deputy Minister for Education and Sport. Welcome. Is Mr. Z.Fidel YLLI, President of Albanian Olympic Committee. Thank you, Mr. President. Is Mr. Andi SEFERI, Deputy Mayor of Tiranës. Thank you, welcome. So I want to thank you and give a welcome from all the representatives of the university, but especially Professor Paolo Parisi and Antonio Tessitore from University of Rome, and Professor Norbert Bachl and Harry Chan from University of Vienna, and all the representatives from University of Novi Sadit, University of Montenegro, University of Prishtina, University of UBT, Pristina II, University of Tetovës, University of Shkodra, University of Elbasan. And thank you very much for your presence. The idea of this meeting we're doing today is to create from the beginning, because I'm saying from the beginning because for some reasons for more than 3-4 years we just stopped communication and collaboration together. But I'm really pleased then we achieved the goal to be together again and to start a new process of the bilateral and multilateral collaboration. So today is the day that in the main idea of this meeting or forum was to create a network team again, and in the focus of European Week of Sports. So we are going to talk later, step by step, all the topics of this process that we are doing today. But after that, to have an agreement together for the future and to go from this sport, European sport of Week of Sport, to look forward, to go to the projects, to apply for projects in European community. So the idea was to start today and to see the possibilities, all the range of the possibilities we have in the future to continue, let's say. In this point, I want to thank you again. Everyone is present here, and I'm going to give for some words to Deputy Minister of Education and Sport.
Good morning, everybody. Dear participants, distinguished colleagues from the region, from the European Union, it's my great pleasure and honor to be here today in this event, the Balkan University meeting on sport and European programs. The Ministry of Education and Sport is supporting the higher educational institutions in order to increase the number of collaborations with partners from the region and from the European Union in terms of exchanging program with regard to the academic staff and also to the students as well. The activization of study program in collaboration with partners from the region and from the European Union will have a direct impact on internal quality of our universities. The release of joint and double degrees will give recognition to the qualification obtained and stop at the same time our brain drain students. In the field of internationalization, I would like to highlight that in February, Albanian government has signed the agreement of the participation in Horizon Europe. The agreement was ratified in early May and has already entered into force. Participation in Horizon Europe is of fundamental importance for scientific research and innovation. We want our universities, research institutions, and businesses to be more active in participating in Horizon Europe in order to increase our success rate and also to increase the funds received and dedicated to the scientific research. As we already know, Horizon Europe is the most important key funding program for research and innovation. Scientific research has a direct impact on our economic growth. There is still room for improvement in order to increase the number of applications of our institution, but also to have and to benefit more funds from the Horizon Europe. And also in order to increase the number of businesses that benefit more funds. So not only universities, but also NGOs, public institutions, and businesses. We do recognize the importance of the process of participation in Horizon Europe, and that's why the Ministry of Education and Sport is working on capacity building. We are collaborating with European partner in order to build training skills in project writing and to increase our success rate and our funds received from the Horizon Europe. This instrument will help our institutions to have a better performance. Said that, I would like to emphasize the importance of this event for the regional cooperation in order to discuss jointly the challenges that we face, the results achieved, and the way ahead in terms of importance of sport and physical activities as a significant contribution to the well-being of the European citizens. The European Week of Sport initiative was launched in 2015 in response to the growing crisis of inactivity, and the 8th edition will take place from 26 to 13 of September 2022. The aim of the week is to improve the awareness on the importance of the active lifestyle for everyone, no matter who we are and what we do. So we can see sport as a tool that connects generation and build resilience. I would like to thank Rector Professor Agron KASA for organizing such an important event, such a great event in collaboration with the European partner, and I wish you a fruitful discussion. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank you for your invitation and the opportunity to address in this joint meeting Balkan University in Tirana. Secondly, I would like to wish all the participants a very warm welcome in Tirana, which is not simply the capital of Albania, but Tirana is the capital of Europe for youth. And this year we can have a lot of activity. Tirana is the center in Europe for youth, and we organize the Conference League in football. It's the big event in Tirana in the beautiful stadium. And right now we organize the European Championship for heavyweight lifting. In the time that we are talking now, we can organize in the Olympic Park the Taekwondo World Cup, European Cup for karate and for the many sports. As the president of Albanian Olympic Committee, I'm delighted to have in this meeting today to express you the support of the Olympic Committee, because now we have the tradition for the Balkan Olympic Committee. We organize the meeting like this. 3 months before, we organized the meeting for all the Balkan European Olympic Committee. We organized a meeting in Montenegro. And the idea is because the sports is one step before the politics. The sport is the bridge between the Balkan country. And the sports is education, sports is politics, sports is diplomacy, sports is health, sports is movement. We don't have the life without moving. I would like to inform you, because the Olympic Committee make the big project to the Ministry of Education and Sports, and the Minister of Education and Sports and the government supported us with a big project with $5 million for sports in school. And we can organize 750 teams in 12 counties in 61 municipalities. This is, for the first time, is a big project, and now together with municipality, with University of Sports, Olympic Committee, the Federation of Volleyball and Basketball, we can organize the sports in school. For the schools in elementary school, in middle school, in high school and university. It's a big project, and this project we can express all the participants, because the University of Sport has a big role in this project, because all the laboratory, all the coaches, all the training, they are coming from University of Sports. And this project, we can have 16,000 students to play basketball and volleyball, 350 coaches, 100 coordinators. And these projects we can see it like a job. This project is paying from Olympic Committee, from the money that government gave it to us. At the end, in my short intervention, I would like to issue you with a fruitful exchanging during these meetings, and I have seen you a tight program to discuss ahead. And I want to thank you again to enjoy Tirana, because Tirana has a night life, and you can enjoy it. To networking is done through the night working. Thank you very much, Mr. Rector, for this invitation, and enjoy it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Dear all, thank you very much for the invitation. I want to speak in Albanian, so not this problem. Përshëndetje të gjithëve.
Hello everyone.
I nderuar Zoti Rektor.
Honored Mr. Rector.
Do doja në fillim t'ju falenderoja shumë për këtë organizim.
I'd like first to thank you for the organization and holding this meeting.
Ku me supportin e Ministrisë Arsimit dhe veçanërisht profesoresh Albanës dhe të mikut ton Fidel YLLIt, që I kudo ndodhuri.
Okay, that with the support of the Ministry of Education and Sports, and also with the support of Mr. Fidel YLLI and the Olympic Committee, that is, you can find him everywhere and is ready for everything in this regard.
Të bëjmë të mundur këtë krijimin e këtij networku midis institucioneve, universiteteve, jo vetëm brenda Shqipërisë, por edhe në të gjithë Europën.
So it's very important that we are making possible the settling and the founding of this network, not only between institutions and universities within Albania, but also even more broader.
I lumtur jam gjithashtu që nga shumë universitete europiane kanë ardhur në Tiranën tonë miq me dëshirën e mirë për të bashkëpunuar edhe në fushën e sportit. Dhe prandaj do t'ju uroja mirëseardhjen në emër të Bashkisë Tiranë.
Okay, so I'm happy to see and to know that there are friends from European University that are here present today to create this network, and I'd like to express my welcome in part of the municipality of Tirana and the town hall of Tirana. Thank you for being here.
Historia ka treguar që kur institucionet bëhen së bashku, prodhojnë diçka të mirë.
History has witnessed that when institutions come together, so a lot of things are achieved and success is achieved and a lot can be done.
Por gjithashtu historia ka treguar që sporti ecën me një shpejtësi më të madhe se sa institucioneve tona.
But also history has witnessed that sport goes far faster and with a velocity that is even faster than the institution's pace of doing things.
Që do thotë ndonjëherë është mirë që të pararendemi nga sporti.
Which means that we can say that sport can be the leader of these actions. So can lead us because it's faster in that sense.
Për Tiranën tonë dhe për gjithë Shqipërinë është një moment shumë i rëndësishëm sepse siç e tha dhe Fideli, është viti europian I rinisë.
So this is an important year for Tirana and Albania, as Mr. Fidel YLLI mentioned. This is the year when Tirana is the youth capital, European youth capital.
Ku një nga gjuhët e përbashkëta që flitet, madje gjua më e rëndësishme që flitet është ajo e sportit.
And the main common language spoken is the language of sports.
Pa dallim nga asnjë lloj shteti, vendi, zone, krahine, është sporti ai që I bashkon të rinjt tanë, që bashkon vendet tona.
Apart from any other thing, so apart from region or not distinguished by region, language, countries or cultures, sport is what brings the youth and all people together.
Në këtë këndvështrim, prandaj thash që shpejtësia e sportit është më e madhe, është detyra e institucioneve tona të bashkërendohemi për të bërë të mundur vazhdimsinë e kësaj tradite që sporti krijon. Që do të thotë qoftë nëpërmjet aspektit institucional, por qoftë edhe nëpërmjet punës madhe që bëhet aktualisht, duke filluar nga shkollat nëntëvjeçare, shkollat e mesme dhe deri tek universitetet.
In this respect, so in this viewpoint, so the institution need to collaborate a lot with each other in order to keep this tradition, to maintain this tradition, and to move forward in this respect. And also, so it needs a lot of collaboration between or starting from the elementary schools, middle and high schools, and then even beyond.
Bashkia e Tiranës ka një drejtori, por edhe sektor të tjerë që mbështesin një drejtori të fuqishme të sportit, e cila duke bashkërenduar edhe me drejtoritë e tjera, bën të mundur masivizimin dhe kthyrjen në një politik fokus për të gjithë qytetarët e Tiranës.
Okay, at the municipality of Tirana there is a directorate and a sector that is responsible and deals with sports, and also this directorate coordinates with a lot of other institutions and units in order to make sport massive and to make it more massive and to give, let's say, a political focus on sports.
Të gjitha këto, ashtu sikurse e ripërsëris, Migron Fidel tha për një rritje të shëndetshme, për një jetë të shëndetshme, duke pasur parasysh dhe shumë politika të tjera pikërisht në funksion të politika të rregullimit të Tiranës në funksion të rriturit të shëndetshëm, bëjnë të mundur që dhe në sinergji me institucionet të tjera të shkojmë drejt një procesi që ka për të pas një bon fine, një sukses.
Okay, as Mr. Fidel YLLI mentioned earlier, so sport is life and promotes a healthy lifestyle, and the municipality of Tirana also the policies that it is putting into force and is following in synergy also with other institutions. We are aiming to create facilities and all what is needed in Tirana in order to promote this kind of lifestyle, so to give everything in order to promote sports and a healthy lifestyle that of course at the end will have positive results.
Jam I lumtur se Tirana nuk është vetëm kryeqyteti i rinisë, por është kryeqyteti i sportit, është kryeqyteti turistik, është kryeqyteti i zhvillimit për të gjithë rajonet.
I'm happy because Tirana is not only the capital of youth, but also it's the capital of tourism, capital of sports. So it's the capital of development, let's say, in the region.
Duke shprehur edhe një herë optimizmin për të qenë pjesë e kësaj tavoline, ju siguroj që Bashkia e Tiranës gjithmonë do të jetë një derë e hapur, një shpatull e fortë, një mbështetje, një financues për të gjitha idetë dhe projektet që do të keni në të ardhme në lidhje me këtë nisëm kaq për të përshëndetur.
Faleminderit.
Okay, I'm very optimistic.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm very optimistic about this meeting, and I want to assure you that the municipality of Tirana, the town hall of Tirana, will be an open door, a strong shoulder, and great support, financer, also for all the ideas and the projects maybe that will be concluded here and also in the future.
Okay. Thank you very much, faleminderit. Unë do doja të ndërhyja pak këtu në përshëndetjen që bëri nënkryetari i Bashkisë për të falenderuar jo vetëm për prezencën, por edhe për mbështetjen që ka dhënë.
Okay, I'd like to thank the deputy mayor of Tirana for his presence here, but of course for all the support that the municipality has offered.
Do të doja që të falenderoj nëpërmjet jush kryetarin Veliaj, kryetarin e Bashkisë, i cili që në kryet herës ka qenë shumë pozitiv, totalisht i fokusuar për të qenë mbështetje të këtij forumi që kemi organizuar.
Through you, please I would like to thank you, the mayor, Mr. Velia, that has always been positive and support for organizing of this meeting and
për dijenin e gjithë pranishmëve, Universiteti i Sportit me Bashkinë e Tiranës kanë një histori të jashtëzakonshme bashkëpunimi, dhe ky është pjesë e këtij procesi siç jemi tani.
So I'd like you to know that the University of Sports and the municipality of Tirana has a great, let's say, a long history of cooperation.
Dhe Zoti Veliaj është në dijeni për këtë projekt që do të zhvillohet deri në fund të shtatorit, javën e fundit të shtatorit, dhe ka qenë mbështetje të plot për ta suportuar edhe nga pikpamja financiare atë që ne kemi planifikuar për të bërë.
And of course, the mayor, Mr. Velia, is aware and notified, and also he has expressed and given all kind of support, even that financial support for the activity and the project that will happen in September, so end of September.
Kështu që ne do të aplikojmë në formën e një projekti siç i ka rregullat Bashkia, duke shpresuar që ky projekt nga ana juaj do të shikohet me precedencë për ta çuar.
And of course, according to the rules, we need to apply to the municipality, because so are the rules. We have to apply as a project, so to apply for a project there. And of course, we hope that we will we will be favorable, let's say, in this scene with the priority about this project that we're going to apply.
Kemi një specifik, Universiteti i Sportit ka një specifik nga universitetet e tjera, qofshin publike, qofshin private, për shkak se fusha e aplikimit është shëndeti publik. Nga kjo pikpamje, strategjia e universitetit tonë është për dalë jashtë portave të universitetit, jo vetëm duke bërë ndeshje sportive, por kryesisht duke organizuar aktivitete për komunitetin, për moshat e treta, për fëmijët me aftësi ndryshe, specifikisht fëmijët me autizëm, kështu që është një projekt gjithëpërfshirës në ndihmë të komunitetit. Nga kjo pikpamje mendoj që edhe Bashkia e Tiranës do të ishte ka një arsye më të madhe për ta mbështetur.
Okay, we as a university are, let's say, specific from the others because one of our focus is public health, and our strategy is to make sport more massive, and that is how the project will be drafted. So our strategy is to go to the people, to make it more massive, organizing activities for children, for the elderly, and also for children with autism. So the concept of the project would be considering even these targets. That's why we hope and we invite the municipality to see it as a priority. So our project as a priority when we apply.
Faleminderit shumë. Okay. Profesor, Rektori i Universitetit UBT-s, fjala juaj.
Good morning, dear Rector, dear Deputy Minister, dear President, dear Deputy Mayor, dear colleagues from different universities, and I'm really honored and pleased to be here. Thank you very much for your invitation, Rector, to bring us together in a, I think, as an important time, but as a very important issue dealing with the sport. I'm representing here UBT, the University for Business and Technology, a young institution of higher education, almost 20 years old, not more, but with now about 12,000 students, 1,200 staff, and almost 150 different accredited majors. And we try to create a kind of so-called entrepreneurial innovation-based ecosystem university, which is try to confirm the expectation of the universities with the responsibility for society, for education, for research. And because we create different topics, and we saw that sport is not a simple issue, it's a complex, it's a convergence base related with the health, related with nutrition, with of course performance and technology and management and many things. So after we get those function in the university, we thought that now it's time also to reflect on the sports science, and some years ago, together and with the support also with colleagues from different institutions, especially with the leadership of Professor Paolo Parisi, Professor Ball, and Professor Chan, and then we created the Sport Science and Movement School, which now we have the bachelor and now waiting for the master level in this part. And we are very happy to join the community of the networking. Last year we succeeded to be as a member of European Network of Sport Education. And on the other side, we are happy to be part of the university here, which we already have a partnership in different ways with all the universities here. We have worked as in different European projects, in Erasmus, in Tempus, and some mobilities. And I think this is also the issue we have to work. Taking as the part of European Commission, you saw that a lot of reports telling us that we should have more regional cooperation in Western Balkan. Every institution has some strength, but not maybe covering the entire necessity for a kind of systematic approach. And I think this is a very good message that we can work together and create this complex approach of sport, starting from the community part, starting from performance, but also looking for modern-based technologies which are coming in the sports science. And we are very happy to be part and have a contribution, and looking forward to see the next steps. Thank you very much for.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rector. So now we go into the second part of the first part. So after the welcome opening, yeah. So Elona is going to go forward now. Okay.
Yeah. Hello. We are very honored to be the host of this interesting event at the University of Sport, and welcoming the all regional universities. My name is Elona Mehmeti. We will have the chance to talk in the second session of the projects today. I am the head of the Department of Projects and Technology. Coming back to the agenda that you all received, I have to say there is a slight difference on the topics that we are going to talk today. So I will give the floor to Professor Paolo Parisi, who is going to go in details on the topics and give us some food for thoughts and do some brainstorming on the topics that we are going to discuss. Professor Paolo, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Ilona, and thank you, Mr. Rector, and thank you for your presence here. That gives so much to this meeting, to all of you, and particularly to the authorities that support this event. Deputy Minister for Education, President of the Olympic Committee, Deputy Mayor of the city. I feel as a honorary citizen of Tirana, a city I like and love very much, but I know little actually. I've been coming here for now 20 years. Some of you may remember that along with Professor Bachul and several other colleagues from a variety of countries from the European Union, we started 20 years ago in Tirana with Professor KASA and many others at the time, and then after Tirana in Kosovo, and then in Serbia, and then in so many other countries all around, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and so on, bringing a European mission, bringing the process of Bologna that was starting in those years, bringing the new educational approaches that we were having and developing in Europe at the time, based on a difficult model, difficult to understand from us who had designed it, and to apply it into practice. So more difficult to convince others who were so strictly bound to their traditional system of education, centered on the teachers, not on the students, centered on the academic approach, not on the market, not on a general widespread culture. I might continue, I might speak for hours on this, and I don't want to do it. But as you understand, I don't want to give a talk. I would like to exchange with you some ideas. I'm old enough, as you know. I've been working for many, many years here. We have been leading, coordinating projects from the European Union, mostly campus projects of 3 or 4 generations for some 10, 15 years. Then other projects in which Professor Chan took the lead in Kosovo in training teachers, school teachers, sport school teachers. Professor Tessitore, was joining me from Foro Italico, where I was rector for many years, has also been very much involved in many of your countries. So most of you, in one way or the other, have been exposed to these people and to the activities we've been calling for. For me today, it's a great day, because it's a point of arrival of a process that has been going on and on with many difficulties. There was a lot of enthusiasm on our side. We were younger. Professor Bachul looks at me here, and he knows about that. We spent a lot of energy. It was nice, but sometimes it was terrible, because we couldn't see how to proceed. It was so distant from our aims, from what we were generating in Europe with difficulties in Europe and all the more so here. So it was a great investment. And it has been very rewarding for me to be able, thanks to Professor Arisi from UBT, but to many of you who have invited me over the years. I was until recent years in Serbia several times and in many other countries, inviting me to help, to lecture, and particularly at UBT to undertake a position and try to help the new university develop also in areas that were not typical of their own activities. So all this has been very rewarding, but what is really rewarding is to see you sitting here and listening to what we're trying to say. What would I like to say? I was very interested months ago when I had a look at the Erasmus Plus program for the next 6 years. And looking at it and speaking with people, I was a consultant in Brussels and I still have some relations. I said, but there is a lot of emphasis on the Balkans. And a friend told me, no, listen, Paolo, this is not one of the priorities of the European Union. The Balkans are the priority of the European Union. So I started developing the idea and say, wait, why don't we use this opportunity? Shouldn't we do something? Because there is, at the same time, not only the political decision that has been increasing and has become even more sensible and more urgent in view of the current situation we are all unfortunately living, there is a lot of interest. But other than this, there has been a growing interest on the side of the European Union and generally of all international organizations and all institutions in sport. We have been used by tradition, by culture, by our own preferences and so on, to consider sports, and we are very happy and proud to have here the head of the Olympic Committee. I myself, as Professor Bachel, are deeply involved in Olympic federations, international federations, and so on. And we are all for, of course, and who couldn't be, for the great, impressive sport events worldwide. But this is not all. It's not the whole story. There is maybe an even bigger story. And this is the relevance that grassroots sport has been acquiring and potentially has and can increasingly develop in all the countries worldwide for the individual, for the community of which the individual is part, for the regions, for the societies, for the better inclusion of disabled, of people with difficulties that we all consider a priority, for the integration of migrant individuals and populations who happen to spend some time, maybe their life, in our countries that are more fortunate than their own, for all kinds of priorities in our both Eastern and Western society to some extent, that is equality, starting from gender equality, in which sport can play a very enormous role, starting from the environment. And we now have green sports that is playing a role in this area. I could continue on and on. You all know, you don't need me to tell you to what extent sport is important. I'm saying obvious things that all of you know. But I'm trying to put these into a sequence and into an ordinate picture to bring this about and continue and saying, okay, what next then? Well, what next means that let's use, that's the proposal, and really timely that Professor Kasa had this idea of pushing in this direction and organizing this. Let's use this extremely relevant and unique combination of events, the attention to the Balkan area, the great and growing attention to sport, to use Balkan countries and sport, and combine these into a common approach. So basically, when I was looking at Erasmus Plus, obviously it was too late. The deadlines for each of the calls, the yearly calls, are very close to the beginning of the year. Normally, in a 6-year program, the call is in the fall, about November. In November, there is a call, and then at that point, you only have a few weeks left to organize the application, which means that if you don't prepare the year before, you are necessarily late. So I said, okay, so we need to move to apply in 23 and maybe use already some strong program which we have already worked on. We are building up such as a good educational program and work on this, try to reach consensus, try to share it, modify it as needed, and then apply around the end of the year, this year, 22, so this coming fall, when the guidelines that are general for the 6 years, but then very specific for each year, normally the general Erasmus program, which is about 400 pages long, give the a wide outline of the entire picture. Each yearly call specifies the priorities and the way to apply and the deadlines for the application. But basically, what has been published this year for 22 will be the same for 23. So based on this, and subject to the variability that can be introduced from now to November when the application will be out, and we will start to work on this, we know that we can base ourselves on what has been published. But meanwhile, why waste all this interval? So we thought there is a possibility. You know that from 2015, but basically from 2017, the European Union has issued every year a European Week of Sport. This is not very involving in terms of organization. It's very free. It's left to national states. Everyone can organize it as they best see fit on a local scene, on a national, or on a regional and international one. It is left to individual governments to recognize the events as belonging to the frame of reference of the European Week of Sport. Meaning a label that can be used and a recognition that can come to the institution or institutions that joined it. So basically what we're here to discuss is let's do our best, and number one, that will be our first objective. An objective that, allow me to say, we have already reached. You're sitting here and listening to me with patience. Thank you for that, but also with interest, I assume. You are sitting here, you had a long trip to come. We are happy to have you here, but then what next? What next is the objective we have already reached. We are here together because we are all interested in what we are trying to discuss about. Meaning that we could formalize this in the ways you best see fit into some kind of a contact group or a network focused on sport, generally speaking, in Balkan universities, not yet fully part of the European Union, implying candidate countries such as Serbia and others, and potential candidate countries such as Albania to start with, which is becoming a candidate country very soon. We have, and there is a lot of emphasis from the European Union to really move and push on candidate countries to really do what is left in order to join fully Europe. Now, the emphasis that is today in, this is another important issue, in all of European programs, and particularly Erasmus+, is to work very much for the benefit of countries not associated to the program. Meaning not Italy or Austria or Germany or whatever. Meaning Albania, meaning Kosovo, meaning Serbia, who is a candidate country but not yet entered, and so on. So we must work on these points. So the proposal I think I can try and make is, let's first of all bind into some kind of a network. This network could consult periodically. We may have a number of appointments from now on. For instance, I know that Rector Risi would be pleased to host another meeting during what is done every year at UBT, which is a summer academy, in which there is a slot for every one of the many activities and faculties at UBT, from engineering, architecture, and so on, to sport. Sport is typically in the third week of July. It can be moved according to your needs, but this is, I think, it's an invitation to all of you to find an intermediate moment to come together and examine what can be done for the next steps. Then, the final week of September, to gather again anywhere, could be Tirana again, as we did now, to finalize what we have thought we could do. To make the whole thing easier for this first case, we thought, we had informal discussions with many of you yesterday, so I'm going fast about this, but then we will have time to discuss. The first point could be to say, okay, let's work on the European Week of Sport, but interpreted in the way that best fits the possibilities of each of the partners. So we establish a network, we decide that we want to try and reinforce each other by participating and helping others to participate to European programs, but then we develop individually in each of our own universities a program that fits with the European Week of Sport, but not necessarily the same for all universities. We don't have the time to do this in a couple of months, including August. So this would be easier because everyone in our universities has their own program. So within that program, let's try and have some exchanges and have something online if we can, open games that can be followed from other sites as well, other locations. And then when we meet in July, we speak about the idea and what we are developing. And when we meet finally at the end of September for a couple of days again, we finalize what we have done with a presentation, with a video, with some prize, whatever we have developed meanwhile. I don't want to go into details because the details will be coming out of the discussion later on. At the same time, we can use these possibilities, these meetings from now on, to develop the idea of an application or of a number of applications for future years to Erasmus+. That gives ample space. We already have some program ready to focus on something like what might be a sport mediator, someone incorporating in a way a number of specialties, allowing him or her to play a leading role in our communities for sport applied practice by the single individual for his or her own benefit in terms of well-being, health, prevention, and so on, but also for community building, for regional development, and so on. We will have time to discuss about all this later on. I have tried to incorporate all of the things in this short talk now because we decided that after all, I think the rector wanted to propose this. We try to make it to allow those of you who have to leave in the afternoon not to be bound to stay here for some discussion that may be already done this morning. So I have combined the basic ideas, and then we will have time to develop these and now Professor Kasa may develop further the ideas related to the European Week of Sport and how we plan to do it. And then later, if you wish, before opening up a discussion, I can give you more ideas, if needed, as to what might be done in terms of next applications for Erasmus+. Okay? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Professor. So, Lona.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Parisi. And as you mentioned, we are going in a coffee break now, and we will meet afterwards to go in further detail with the agenda and with projects and ideas. So thank you.
It's going to be no more than 10 minutes.
10 to 15
so
minutes.
So we
max.
continue here all together to proceed with the points that Professor Parisi mentioned before.
Thank you.